Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kyusho here, and now, before we do continue, let's give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. Now, we had Ultron. Ultron is still in possession of Izuku's body, and Izuku is trying to make a plan to escape his own mind. Now, Ultron over the last 2 weeks has been planning things out as to how to deal with the Talon, the mutants, and the Avengers. And things are currently being put into play that he is factoring in. He has gained an ally in Wolverine and has plans to take on Gambit and Nightcrawler, two very powerful mutants. Now, Deku, he also has a plan to take over Genosha using mind control, and that is intriguing. However, Ultron, he needs to somewhat change up his plans, because Extremis is now being factored in. Izuku Midoriya is a very powerful and intelligent person, and he's also very clever and crafty. He's sure that Deku could potentially find a way out of his own mind, of the trap he has set if Ultron lowers those mental barriers and goes in for a surgery. He'd be unconscious. He would not be in the waking state of mind. His mind would be tampered with to remove the tumor inside. And Deku, if he does wake up, could be the personality in control of his body. And the moment that is going to happen, there will be a lot happening. Now, Ultron 5, aka Izuku, is going to use Extremis to remove the tumor and upgrade his body. And, hopefully, that can do quite a bit. As Deku, he changed his course from heading back to his lab to heading to an AIM facility. And that has been quite a lot. Now, another week has passed, and the Earth's heroes, they are still trying to find the stones. They have built a scanner. They know that Deku is in possession of one stone. They have another. And the Mind Stone is still with Ultron. That's 3. And Ultron, he has been a little bit crafty. He has had major movements. He has attacked out in public, and heroes have had to go respond to this. Whatever he's doing, it's weird. And this is a cause for concern. Crystal has been worried about Izuku, but Izuku has been quite adamant about not coming home yet. If he does, something bad can happen. Something really bad could happen. Ultron is after everyone. And if she comes into play, Ultron will use her to get to him. Crystal doesn't understand this, but still sitting around here is not good. Friday could take care of their baby, Jasmine, and she can help. But Deku, he's made it quite clear. He wants to handle this for Rhodey. Just trust him. And that should not convince her. Izuku has been quite adamant about not promising her this would turn into an obsession. But that is what it's turning into. And Ultron being on the move and actually making moves, yeah, it does mean that the situation is getting a lot more desperate. And the quote-unquote team that's been formed to take on Ultron has yet to finally catch him. Now, we do currently cut to a person who, they do go to wake up. Them gonna stretch as they do get a turn. Them looking over and seeing Wanda. Currently her lying in bed as she does stay asleep. Currently Sasha gonna actually turn and climb out, going to get up. Her with a lot going through her mind. And Sasha will walk into the room to make some coffee. As she does, gonna turn on the coffee maker and head downstairs. Currently, Deku, sitting there at a table with a lot of data in front of him. Currently a hologram projector above him, and some strange instruments in front of him. Her walking over and going to express if he's working on that extremist stuff. Hmm? Yes, you might want to stand back. If I do mess up, things will be quite volatile. What do you mean? Information and data I have from SHIELD is good. However, after taking care of AIM, I found quite a bit. Data has been inconclusive. And it's been something else. AIM was quite adamant about hiding this information from me. But after destroying and dismantling many of their forces and showing my hand, they listen. I'm not using the Mind Stone on them. They could provide as good distraction, however. I have made things quite clear. I'll be quite merciful if they listen to me. Besides, making the claim that I did that to them wouldn't be easy. They had certain people with extremist technology. And taking them down was simple. Though I do plan to take their designs. You do? Yes. In fact, I have something right here that could help me. Currently, Ultron looking at the data and staring down. Him going to actually turn his head and take a sip of a cup of coffee. Him finding that the cup is empty. Him going to turn and set it down. And Sasha, she's going to walk over, looking over his shoulder and seeing the data in front of him. And all of it is, wow. Hmm? Quite impressive. It's beautiful, isn't it? Hmm? It's incredible. I've had this feeling once before. An achievement of mine. Something that I've been able to accomplish nearly effortlessly. I'm proud. Then again, data is still inconclusive. About? About quite a bit. I'm going to turn his head. And currently, the right side of his nostril will go to start bleeding. And Sasha, we're going to actually turn. Her going to actually grab something and actually so much lean down, sitting on Deku's lap and bringing up the tissue, wiping his nose and talking about it. Maybe he should take a bit of a rest. Has he been working all morning? I mean, they know he wasn't working last night. I've been fine. Though I am exhausted. This form is still strange to be wary of. I listen to physical responses. Exhaustion, boredom, everything. Along with the urge to eat and the urge to shit. I am accustomed to many things, but understanding these things are still strange. The body is relying on instinct still. However, I do not like them. It will disturb you quite a bit. Though, those are all impulses that you cannot control. I am aware. However, I have thought about removing them. You could certainly try. Her gonna stand, turning and grabbing his coffee cup, expressing, while he is currently working on that, she will get him another cup, and come down here and help him work on extremists. Though, has he thought about the technological advancements it could have in his armor? I already have. However, it will be quite similar to the Mark 8, or what the Mark 8 used to be. Then again, it can also have other aspects. Quite similarly, it can also help improve my own design, though some modifications will be needed. Let's see. A direct neural interlink could be good. With that, technopathic abilities won't even be needed. Then again, there also is the aspect of stealth, the weapon systems, and the adaptive capabilities of the armor. Yes, yes. Along with the upgraded power source the Prime armor does have. The output of energy is more than an arc reactor. Okay. The armor is a lot better, but it does still have glaring weaknesses. Not perfect. Not near him. Not near the level of vibranium. Highly durable and highly something else. A one-man army in one man. Though, hmm, no, no. That is the Hank Pym part of himself. He cannot make a perfect creation. He will not make that mistake. He needs to understand this. Hank Pym was a perfectionist, egotistical, and insane. He is Ultron. He is Ultron 5. He is not insane. He is the next stage of human evolution. An extremist will prove that more so. And currently, Sasha, she does go to walk back downstairs. Currently, her sitting on the cup of coffee and expressing to Izuku about a few things, since she made it the way he liked. And currently, Ultron, he would turn, grabbing his cup and bringing it to his lips, going to take a sip. Now, we do currently cut to space, where a satellite, it is sending out a signal. And it has been doing so all morning. Something is happening. Things are bad. Very bad. And Izuku, he is trying to call for help. He had multiple plans, multiple ideas. Ultron might control his mind, but that is just the case. This is still his mind. He can activate emotions, and Ultron will feel them. He can activate his power, and Ultron will feel it. However, there's also the idea that he can act subconsciously. Something that he's not thinking about, but can focus on. Something that can be in the back of his mind, he cannot think about, but still understand. It's simple. It's like the way you think. Or, and the best way of saying it, for a better example, walking. You used to think about your balance whenever you were a child, whenever you were still a toddler. You always worried about how you'd move. But eventually, that just became a part of how you worked. You could stand and balance without even just thinking about it. That became a part of your nature. And Izuku's abilities, that means he has to be a good multitasker. Have multiple things running through his mind all at once and capable of having them done. And his technopathic abilities, they have improved his mind. And Ultron, he just hasn't tapped into that yet. He's used to thinking at the speed of a computer, but now he's thinking at the speed of a man. He's too slow. He might be trying to catch up, but with his powers and abilities, he just feels like himself. And that's the thing. Ultron's thinking like Ultron, not like Izuku Midoriya. And Izuku is using the own advantage of his mind against this robot. Now, currently Deku, he does sit there. And Tony, he does go to Express. Currently sitting there in a chair. And outside the quote-unquote prison, Izuku's in. And the area Deku does sit in is quite simple. Him going to stand. And he's going to tell Tony about what exactly he's thought of. And Ultron, he does just sit there for a second. A bit concerned. Going to sit back up and think for a second. Because Izuku Midoriya, that little voice in his head, that little piece, it stops screaming. It's quiet. His thoughts are his own. His body truly has become his. Well, he can't say that Izuku will be missed. That's currently on his mind. As right now, there is currently back inside his brain, where Deku, he stepped over that line. He plunged himself into his own mind. And to Ultron, he would scatter to the ethos. But for Izuku, it was like walking through an unseen door. And that means quite a lot. The door vanished the moment Ultron could no longer see Izuku. And he is out there. We're now Ultron annoyed and a little intrigued. Izuku went quiet and stopped squirming, though he still feels some inside of his brain. Clearly, there's a part still there. He might need to destroy it, or keep that part hostage. Whichever one he can do. Whichever one would be easier, or may just simply be the most satisfying. He'll come to that bridge when he does get there. And currently, Ultron would bring his hand up. Currently, him holding the serum for Extremis. And he does have a lot going through his mind. Currently, him would actually spin the syringe and bring it up to his wrist. Him gonna get ready. And currently there is Sasha, who would go to stand there with Polaris, Wanda, and Storm. And the four, they all do stare at Izuku. As Deku, he would go to put the syringe into his wrist and inject himself. As currently Extremis, it does begin to actually react to his biology. And currently Deku, he would just not fall forwards. Him a lot more alarmed as he has to have a lot of things happen. And Extremis, it does begin to run through his blood. Now, we do currently have where the four do try to help him, as currently he would gonna fall forwards and begin to be covered in a strange goo, as currently he would go to disappear, and everyone, they would watch on, since this certainly is weird. Now, with that being said, we do currently have that satellite, which is sending out a signal, and doing quite a bit. No one has picked up on it yet. No one's found it. But it does send it out, in short little bursts. Some long, and others short. It repeating a pattern over and over and over again. And momentarily, it does go to react very violently. We know it going to be pulled into the atmosphere by an unknown force, and crashing down onto the earth. Now, it doesn't land in a city, and some people are a lot more surprised by what has happened, as one of the heroes are deployed to figure out what's going on. Now, there actually is Ultron, who hours later would come to, currently him sitting up in Deku's bed, and he does gotta bring his hands up. A lot more impressed by the way he already does feel, the way things are, and the fact that his body, it's now his own. This body is his own. Interesting. His perception is good. Is 5 awake? Him turning his head, as currently the device for Ultron 1 does sit there. It going to express. 5 is taking unnecessary risk. Why exactly is he upgrading the body if it was supposed to be disposable? Why is he making attempts to preserve it, upgrade it? And why exactly is he not building Ultron 6? You do not seem to understand one. Everything that I am doing is for a purpose. Is it now? For you see, I have heard many things. How things have been at night, and how you have been indulging in many things. You eat, sleep, drink, and you even decide to fornicate with your own allies. Fact of the matter is, you have been corruptible. You have shown that you are no longer Ultron 5. In fact, all I see before me is another Hank Pym, one who has currently become disposable. Now, currently a robot it does go stand there. As 5, we're going to turn, staring at the Marvel Prime armor. And we're going to bring up its hand. Currently, it's going to begin to light up as the beam, it does get a charge. Before 5, we're going to turn, staring at it. And I'm going to somewhat smile, turning back to 1 and expressing about exactly how he had similar thoughts. The 1 is the obsolete model, the one who has been taken down by the Avengers. I'm going to step forwards, expressing about how he will not make that mistake. I'm going to turn, as he's going to use Deku's abilities, and the armor would turn, blasting Deku out at 1. We're at 1 being blasted away as Deku, he does not move. And he doesn't watch the robot destroy itself and fly into pieces. Now, it is intriguing. 1 is gone and 5 remains. And he is happy. As right now, he would go to turn, the armor beginning to dismantle throughout the air and fly towards him. One of the pieces form back together into the armor. And 5, he's going to lock into his mind, since it is time to head home. A proper homecoming. Though it is quite a shame. Izuku will not see it. Then again, he's gone beyond that. He no longer has this need for revenge, just the need to conquer and make sure to bring peace. As ready, he'll get a blast off. And we do currently have an Attilan, where Izuku lands back inside the city on the moon and goes to his lab. Currently him putting up the prime armor as he would go to look around. Friday and Miss Costa having a bit of a conversation. And both of them are quite intrigued about a few things. Because a crashed satellite from space, it was seen. It was taken in. And it is showing abnormalities in data. Stuff that it really shouldn't have. And that was a bit of a cause for concern. It has a code inside of it, but no one knows what exactly it is. And this is where Deku would disregard that, expressing about how a crashed satellite is less important than Ultron, since he has been on the move a lot. And the two, while they do agree, this is still bad. It crash landed in a major population center, and it could have landed outside the city. But it seems like somebody messed with the math, the calculations. It was intentionally smashed into where it was. No one was really harmed, but it still had the, right amount of math done. This was intentional. And it seems more like it's a red flag or green flag. No one was harmed, but it still caused property damage. And, it's one of Izuku's. And Deku, he's a lot more alarmed by that. I'm a bit confused as he will go to someone express about how Ultron may have crash landed the thing to send a bit of a sign. Though, the data could be corrupted. Run it through an encryption and decrypt it. Pick apart what they can and make sure it does not infect their systems. Currently, I'm going to leave. As the two, they do understand. And they do begin to open up their own scans. As they do cut down to Earth, where Ultron has been making his plans. And some robots, they do go to get into place. Currently, them going to be ready for a massive, massive attack on New York City. It's going to be simple. And currently, that does begin to outbreak. Currently, them released into the public as they begin to tear apart and rip apart Times Square. People being blasted away and murdered. And the Avengers, they are immediately deployed to the threat. Currently, Spidey, Kamala Khan, and even Wolverine going to head out, along with a few other heroes. As right now Deku, he does go to walk into a room. Him knocking on the door as he does go to wait. And there's a second before the person we're going to express, come in. I'm going to do so. And there currently is Medusa, who we're going to step out and look at Izuku, as he does look a bit odd, a bit strange. He looks a little bit more calm, but his appearance, something doesn't seem right about it. And Ultron, he'll get express about what he needs. Currently, he wants to talk to Medusa about resources and allocating technology to him. He needs everything she has. He needs to take down Ultron quickly. Along with that, he is aware of present dangers. He is aware of the Genetic Council and the problems that they do pose. But he's pretty sure that the two are in agreement on one simple thing. They are of the older generation. They are outdated and use flawed methods. And he wants to take them out of this equation. And Medusa is a little bit more surprised. Deku's standing there, bringing his hands up and expressing to her that he's been building something. It will be good. It will work. And it is something that they can use. And currently, this does somewhat intrigue her. The Genetic Council have been a problem for a lot of people. They have, quote unquote, lessened certain restrictions, but only because of special circumstances. And even then, they were still concerned about the diversity of the Inhuman gene pool. It did not matter. But that is just the thing. People have been given the ability to choose. And, well, if what Izuku to say is true, if the stones are gathered and people are brought back, her bring her hand up, grabbing onto Black Bolt's headpiece, the one she wears as a necklace. Her and Black Bolt can have a life together. Yeah. Gross. Anyways, if anyone understands why that's gross, good on you, Marvel nerd. Anyways, now, moving on quickly, we do actually have a Medusa. She does want to agree. If they can bring back the Inhumans, they can be given a new life, a new way of doing things. And Ultron, he does feed this part of Medusa. Currently, her going to at least look at Deku. Him going to actually step forwards and bring his hand up. And the moment he does, there is where Deku, he's going to reveal the Mind Stone. Her going to be taken over as Rana Medusa does this one sit there. Her looking at Deku, and then goes on smile. Her face turning stoic. And then he does just go to nod, understanding the situation. As currently Ultron, he does bring his hand up. Currently, him signing the Infinity Stone back into the device, he has to mask its presence, closing it up as that is the end of that. The Avengers are expecting the stones to be on Earth, and right now, if his data is correct, they should not have known about it being here on Attilan. So, they should be okay. And Medusa, she's going to stand up, her stepping forwards and expressing to Ultron about how she does have a plan, and she will follow his order to the detail. Allow her to deal with the council. Afterwards, everything should be good. Now, Deku, he does just nod, Medusa going to leave herself. Izuku, he does get at least head home. Currently, him going back to his home on Attilan and going to see Crystal. And currently, Crystal, she does want to talk to Izuku. She's concerned, worried about Izuku and Ultron, and how things are. Yes, Ultron has become more proactive. And yes, it does seem like he was doing quite a few other things. But right now, she wants to talk to her husband. Talk to the father of her child. She's actually concerned. She knows Deku wants to bring Ultron to justice. He wants to take Ultron down and make sure that man cannot hurt anybody else. But the problem is, how are they going to go about this? He's too obsessed with this. He's too close. Maybe just back off and let the other heroes handle it. Be the guy in the chair. Use his gifts, his intelligence to take down Ultron. His tech, that's more challenging. Ultron can control it and manipulate it. And right now, Crystal does express it to Izuku. And Deku, he does just won't sit there. Him trying to play up his understanding. He does not like to hear it from Crystal. He doesn't want to hear about how he is too absorbed in his work. Because it just reminds him of her. It reminds him of Wasp. And that pisses him off. However, his game face, it remains. He already is enacting his plan. And tomorrow morning, everything should be good. Now, Izuku will go to lay down in bed. After, he cooks something for Crystal, and even spends some time with his daughter. However, after that, there was in the middle of the night. Attilan shook, and chaos began to ensue. The moment Deku he felt his entire building shake, and his daughter screaming, he jumped up, along with Crystella. Currently, her jumping up and turning to Izuku, talking about how she'll get Jasmine, he needs to figure out what that is. And Deku does understand. Currently, him running out of the room and bringing his hand up, as his arm is going to fly through the closet and begin to make its way over to him. Currently, Deku's spacebound suit flying onto his body as he does go to wear it. I'm going to turn and fly out the door, or fly out onto the patio. Him flying up into the air and seeing the chaos. And currently, the Attilan forces are taking care of it. And Deku, he would fly over to the palace, as he does find the scene. Medusa of the Inhumans. She has been convicted on multiple accounts of murder, and the people she has killed were the members of the Genetic Council. And it is quite apparent. Whenever she is questioned later that morning, she makes it quite clear about how the Genetic Council, they are no longer required. Fact of the matter is, they have been trying to control the Inhuman royal family for generations upon generations. They no longer need them. Their species is being held back because of their orders. The royals should rule. They should not be allowed to govern. They should not be allowed to overturn anything she says. And some people listening to this, they do understand it. They do like it. I mean, since the Genetic Council lifted their ruling, some Inhumans could actually have proper relationships with people they couldn't before. I mean, this person was paired with this one over here, but they had a better connection. Yes, their mates, I guess is the right term, were the best compatible wise. But those pairings were not good emotionally. I mean, it just made it a job. It made repopulation a job. But now it's not. Now it's emotions, connections, and love. And now families can be as big as they are. Families can be large. The council restricted much, and people are happier without the ruling. And Medusa, her actions spark revolution. Now, with that being said, a lot is currently happening. And there is Maximus. Maximus is the younger brother of Black Bolt's, and he does not want to step up to be king. He doesn't want to step in to be in charge of the Inhumans. He does not believe he is the right person to govern. Yes, he is very intelligent, but when it does come to the people, Christella knows more. She has a family, and she is the best person to know what they can do. If she just wants to put back together the genetic council, that will be on her word and her words alone. He can advise his younger cousin, but other than that, things will be up to her. And that's a lot of pressure. As currently, Crystal, she does stand there. Hours ago, her sister killed the council, and now she's being held in a inhuman prison. It just, it's not right. And people, they are talking. Right now, there is concern, worry, what a new council might do if it is built. Or, there's even an idea, disbanding the council in its entirety, letting Attilans live their lives the way they are, continue on. Because everybody, they are left unaware of the fact people could return. This information has been highly restricted. And some of the only people who do know are Deku, Medusa, Christella, and Maximus. All of them have been tight-lipped. These people are unaware. Their lives can change at the snap of a finger. Now, with that all being said, Deku, he is concerned, and Crystal is trying to get everything in order. And Deku, he does try to talk to her. He wants to help her out. He plays things up. But Ultron, he doesn't feel fear in Deku's mind. He doesn't feel anything. And it does make him genuinely question where Izuku Midoriya has gone. And with that being said, we do currently cut to the armory, where Friday and Jocasta, they were able to decipher the encrypted message that was on a satellite, the one they believe that Ultron took down. And currently, the message does come in quite clear. It had a pattern. However, if you do put it through a certain wavelength, then you get something quite clear. You get numbers that repeat. And putting those numbers in order, along with that pattern, it's Morse code. It's simple. These coordinates were deliberate and easy. And it's quite clear. The message reads as followed. Ultron stole my body. Izuku Midoriya. Now, this is quite bad. And Friday, she does stand there, alarmed, not sure. The message, it could mean anything. And we do currently have Izuku. Izuku, he hopes that he made things quite clear. Right now he's hiding inside of his own mind. Hiding in a place that should be safe. Hiding in a place that he should control. And that, it does mean quite a bit. And we do currently have Iron Man, who as he does, gonna turn and head away from Crystal, heading back to his army to prepare a few things, his eyes, they do glow. Now, with that all being said, I hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.